So, namaste everyone. Good evening. Warm welcome to all of you for this FDP on theatre skills, an applied tool for educators and researchers. Today is the second day of our FDP, and for participants who have just joined us, my request to everyone is that since some of you are maybe faculty members, some of you may be professionals, I request you to share in the chat box which area, which subject area, which discipline do you teach, or what is your professional expertise, so that it is helpful to Zalem in understanding the constitution of this group. So we are extremely once again thankful to Babbar Akali Memorial Khalsa College, Garshankar, Punjab, the IQAC cell and Department of English at the college for collaborating with us for this FDP. Dr. Amandeep Hira, Madam Principal, Dr. Kuldeep Kaur, coordinator of this FTP. So very, very quickly before Zalem jumps in and plunges in into today's session, I'll just give a quick brief overview of what she discussed, and from tomorrow, I request one of you to kindly volunteer to do this recap of the previous day's session. So the session yesterday started with our Vedic corpus, our 4 Vedas, Rigveda, which is all about prayers and stutis, Samaved, music and bhajans, Yajurved, Yagna and rituals, Atharvaved, spirituality. And the 5th Ved, which is Bharat Muni's Natyashashtra, has very important elements like the Sutra, that is the text, Vartika, that is narration or interpretation, and Bhashya, that is commentary or dialogues. Then we had a detailed discussion on each of these aspects and crucial elements of any theatrical performance are Angikam, that is the body, Vaachikam, speech, Aaharyam, ornaments, and Satvikam, which is your realization of the ultimate destination, ultimate goal. So theater, which typically involves body movements, gestures, voice, expression, language, tonality, costumes, how you use the space around you, where you take a pause, where you speak loudly, throw your voice, where you're silent, where you are just using your body and gesture to interact. These are elements that are very, very helpful in a classroom because they help the student to connect. Or, for example, if you're making a presentation in an industry setup, it creates relatedness, you're able to communicate effectively, you're able to understand emotions better, and you're also able to understand others' expressions better. And then towards the end, Zalem Madam gave us an example of our ancient Indic scripture, Mahabharata, and she requested all of us to observe the characters in this epic, the tonation, mood, costume, samvad, language, music, etc. In fact, when we take a break, I'll show everyone something very, very interesting. Great. So with this, let us start today's session, and I invite all participants to please post in the chat box, number 1, what is their subject background, and number 2, what you have learned from yesterday's session. What is the takeaway from yesterday's session? So over to you, Zalem.
Thank you so much, Nidhi ma'am, for revisiting all that we have done yesterday. And as you can see, that today we will be moving ahead with, say, the mudras, the expression part we will be touching upon more. And as as we begin with the session, I would like you all to, wherever you are sitting, you read aloud with me the shlok that is written here. Yato hasta tato drishti, yato drishti tato mana, yato mana tato drishti tato rasa. Now, why this is very important? Because drishti is very, very, very crucial element of Natya Shastra. It talks about holding the attention. It talks about connection. When, let's say, for example, if I'm talking to you right now, not in physical, but then still in, if we say that I am facing the camera, that means I am talking to you. Now, if I talk like this, will it, make sense? No, because then my attention would be on this side and not you. So understand one thing: wherever the character are placed on the stage, the craft talks about connection, and even if it is a monologue, then the actor takes the center stage and it talks to the audience. It demolishes the wall that is in between. They are connected, they are one with the audience. And for that, the eye contact is very, very, very important, very crucial, and it is the very first element that when you pursue theater, you will be asked to execute this thing. Then when you hold the character, how do you hold the character? Say for example, there are two friends on the stage and they are conversing with each other. They are discussing, the genre is playfulness, right? So when they are talking and discussing, if one is distracted and looking at the ceiling fan and the other one is talking, then you know it breaks the chain. Where is the attention? So understand one thing: you need to hold the audience, you need to hold the character, your fellow character on the stage, who is sharing the stage with you. No matter what roles you are, even if you are opposite roles, you try to demand their attention, and so that it is that they then are invited into the space that you are performing in, right? So yato hasya tato drishti. So what happens is, when we actually take our hand to a particular level and we try to see it, we see it from an angle of seeing actually what we want to convey in form of a message. Yato drishti tato mana. Then when we focus our all attention in that particular moment, like the first image, if say it is like a depiction of that lady is remembering something. If we can depict from her posture, she is remembering the old golden days, or she is revisiting the memory. So she is lost in her thoughts, right? So the moment this starts connecting, she is lost in her thoughts. Her eyes, her drushti, is somewhere where she has put up the fictitious central point where she is aiming at, and the audience also looks there. Why? Because that is where she wants the audience to go, right? So understand one thing: yato hasta tato drishti, yato drishti tato mana. Where I want you as an audience to travel with me, I should be in synchronization with my man, with whatever my conscious, whatever it is going on in my mind. I should have that quality of taking you along in this journey. So, and then yato mana tato drishti. So when you actually are in sync with your man, then your drishti should be so much focused, like the Arjun's example. If you see, when Guru Dronacharya asked him, what do you see in that, on that tree? So he says, Guruji, I just see that parrot's eye. Simple as that. So your focus, it should be centered around, your thoughts should not be distracting, your mind should not be distracting. It should all be in alignment with whatever your hand movements or whatever your thoughts are taking. There एक केंद्र बिंदु आपने बना दिया है, and there you should focus. So that cultivates the momentum, and that is a very important divine magical moment where the audience is given all the faith, and you kind of develop a trust, ask them to believe in that. Say for example, if I say that here, in front of me there is God, and there is nobody right now, but I, as a practitioner of theater, if I am answering to somebody, I am conversing with somebody, then I'll make you, as an audience, believe that yes, there is a God here. So understand, it is the belief and trust that comes into play when our consciousness is in alignment with the body language, the postures, the gestures, the eye movement, the eye contact, and the thought processes. Everything, कुछ भी अविचल नहीं होना चाहिए. Everything should be in place. Focus in the moment. Yato drishti tato rasa. And the moment we remember, we yesterday talked about the destination, the end goal, that is Shiva Tattva. So when you are surrendering to the process of acting, when you are surrendering to where you want the audience to go, you are ek chitta with all the aspects of where you want to explore and where you want to take. It is like, hypnotizing the audience to come along with you in the process and be one with you. So at that point, something happens, something which we know as abhivyakti, the expression. And that moment will actually connect and make the audience feel something about the emotion that you are trying to portray in that particular moment. This is very, very deep because this actually is very crucial and turning point where you connect with the audience directly at one stance. Okay, so with that, I take you to the next slide. So what happens is you have a relationship with your artist, co-artist on the stage, as well as the audience. See, there is a pace and momentum that builds the moment you step upon the stage. The moment you go there, it's just not the performance. It is, it is an observation. You own that space. So once you own the space, everything that you do in your capacity, physically, emotionally, it's all going to add up to the meaning and interaction with the audience. You don't directly have to point out to the audience and say, hey, look, I am going to present this. Now you have to, I will be making you understand about this particular thing. No, through your body language, through the portrayal of the role, you have to make them understand without even, you touch the lives of the audience through your performances. So this is very, very, soothing emotionally, and that is the biggest interaction that you can have your audience. You can hold your audience, and the moments that you make on stage should be justified and should be motivated. So the audience come to know, okay, fine, what are the interests and motivations of that particular character? Why is he behaving or she behaving like that? Why is he sort of standing like that? So all these things should be justified, and it should not be restricted. It should be something that opens up the understanding of the audience. It develops a chance for the audience to come and see you from a very close quarter, so that they understand the feeling and the emotion that you gather around your energy while you are performing. And this is the very point of connect. So, what happens when we actually try to connect with the audience? The moment we try to portray a character, there everything related to that particular character, that particular role, talks aloud about what its identity and existence are about. So, the movement that the character pursues, say for example, their attitude, their psyche, their health, their age, their way of thinking, their way of reactions, their way of romanticizing, etc., etc. So it has to be so convincing that somebody who is sitting in the audience starts believing in it. That is your important. That is a very important thing while you touch the audience without touching them. So you touch them through the emotion. You actually guide them to be, to see your vulnerable self, which you are portraying right now in that particular moment. That helps them to understand what you are feeling. And so once they are connected, they also start feeling the same thing. Now, if you remember this, we have jokers. Jokers are very important part of Natak since the very beginning. And in some of the Natyakalas, we know them as Vidushak. So Vidushak is also somewhere, they are also called as the narrators. So Vidushak play a very important role in bridging the gap between the audience and the performer. So what happens is, the moment should be very open as in it should be something that accommodates the audience. It should not restrict the audience. You should not be so much closed off. as personality while you're performing. So this makes them appear, this makes you appear that you're welcoming the audience from a point of view of what you're going to share from the stage. And the important thing is the audience सबसे ज़्यादा important है. Why you are performing? Because you are going to connect with the audience, because there is an audience. I want to tell something. I'm a storyteller. So I want to tell something. So there has to be an audience. So if audience is there, then it is the prime, it holds the prime stage for me. As a narrator, as a curator, as a performer. Something that really motivates the actor is the audience, the claps that they give after the performance gets over. So you should understand that my audience are my audience is very important. And to be honest, audience is also very intellectual. So understand, whenever you make any move, that is going to cast a lasting impression on their psyche. So whatever you do, they are going to, give you reaction and respond to your gestures, your postures, your movements, your dialogues. Everything that you do on stage is going to have an effect on the audience, because they reciprocate with us through their feedback. Okay, so always keep in mind the relationship of with the audience and the relationship of the character on the stage, who is playing, beside you, so that there is interaction between them also, and with the audience as well. Now, when we say about the catching the interest of the audience, then it should be something that holds the audience, glues the audience from the very first point. Say, for example, if your performance is such very powerful, then the audience will not even distract for a moment. So that is the charm of every performance, who makes the audience believe in whatever it is doing, it is practicing. Why? Because it then opens the door for interaction. It then opens the door for the audience to, say, for example, have some perception, change their perceptions, change their mindsets about different criteria that they have thought of. So these are very important aspects regarding, audience attention, capturing the attention of audience. Again, at the same time, you have to be very caution about, exaggeration. You should not. So in theater, there is this one term that calls, we should not be we should not be overdoing. At the same time, we should not be underperforming. So it should be just in the quantity and proportion that is required of you. So if you are a policeman, then you should not be always, policemen, if he or she is on duty and then in uniform, then there is this authority to it. But then they are also human beings. So if it is a lighter scene, then they can also crack jokes. So you make the audience understand कि ऐसे भी पुलिस होते हैं जो थोड़े एकदम lighter way में behave करते हैं. So there is nothing harmful in it. If the script demands the officer, say for example, we know the best example of policeman who cracks jokes and delivers comical and humorous punches through their acting, and in Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma, if you all we all must be aware about Chuldul Pandey ji, Chalu Pandey ji. So see how the role portrayal, it transforms the understanding of the audience, right? Again, it is a part of the trust that is created. So, but exaggeration is not allowed. Okay, the moment. If we see the movement that is, while we are occupying the central stage, it should be in balance. Say, for example, if there are, if it is a, it's a ekankika, or it's a, it's a little large, lengthier natak or presentation production. So what happens is, there are blackouts. If you have heard about these blackouts, so it is the change and transition in the scene. So while there is a blackout, the actors, they come and change the properties of the stage. they change. There is a change in the music, there is a change in the character that appears after the blackout gets over. So there is just a microseconds of a few seconds where there is a blackout. But understand one thing, it is very crucial for every actor to switch in and switch off from the character. Say for example, if one person is playing two roles at the same time, right, on the same stage, I mean in the same natak. So what happens is one comes and then delivers his role, and then he goes out in the blackout. He changes quickly the clothes and attire, and he reappears on the stage as a different person altogether. Now, what happens is here you need to maintain the balance, because both the energy levels of both the characters that you have built up trust, you have delivered on the stage to build up the trust with the audience. They have an understanding about your both the roles that you're portraying as a character. So, what are the different things that both of them do? What is the difference? Make them believe in that. But for that, you should know it first. So, understand there has to be a balance. You should be constantly having a balance of understanding about if I'm not overdoing something, or if it goes with the character that I'm portraying or not. So you have to, first, number one, the priority is you have to forget about your own identity, your own self. Say for example, if it is me, so I must perform the character's role. I must be in the skin of the character, and I should not be Zalem at that time by portraying the role. So understand, even if that portrayal needs something which is not a part of my characteristics, then also then it becomes very crucial to portray that particular thing. Say for example, if I am a very jovial person, and if I have to portray a role who is very short tempered, very aggressive, then it becomes very difficult for me to switch into that. So striking the balance is the important key here. Yeah, every actor should know how to strike a balance when it comes to switching in the character and going out of the character. So let's move to the nine rusts that we all have. Please pardon me for the pixel the image, because it was in hurry that I made this presentation. So I'm extremely sorry about it. Apologies for that. So we understand the emotions that are being portrayed in form of nine rusts. Now, I would be glad to know if you all know. I mean, we all know what are the nine rusts, but if you can just put up in the bracket about what are your favorite rusts and why. So then it becomes easier for me to, understand what kind of roles you like. And we can see here it is the Shringar, that is the delight, the Hasya, Karuna, that is compassion, Adbhut, that is, surprise, Vibhas, that is the disgust, and Veer Ras, then there is Raudra, anger, Bhayanak, and Shant, that is peaceful. Now, every
Nishita ji is
actor,
saying that she has put Shantaras as
okay,
her favorite. Poonam ji has said Adbhut Ras.
mm-hmm.
For me, I think it is the Karunaras.
Yes, same
Yeah,
pinch.
yeah. Please keep on
Because,
responding in the chat box, participants.
yes, yes. See, yesterday we discussed about Angikam, Aaharyam, Vaachikam, right? Now, if the three images that you see on the right side of the NavRasas, if you see, then the first image is an image, the posture of the pose that the girl is giving is of that of a Shiva Tandav, right? So that mudra that she has portrayed. So that is something that, now see what happens is, now when Shiv is presenting himself as a Rudra Swarup in form of a Raudra Swarup. So at that point of time, the anger should be in the posture as well as in the eyes and the costume. So that, unitedly, this is Vaachikam, and when you have, like, this is image, but then if this girl is asked to narrate the dialogue here or utter the dialogue here, then it should be in an aggressive tone, right? Because it will go in sync with each other. Because that particular Russ demands that thing from her as a character. And the same, see, if you see the last image where the middle center image, where the eyes are are very efficient, very prominent. So understand that is, that is वो धाक दिखा रहे हैं किसी को. Again, ऊपर जो है, that is also showing धाक, or it is like I am angry. But the third one is a very it's like, कि I am angry on you and अब तो तुम्हारी खैर नहीं. The third one I'm talking about, where the lady is, the hands are opened, and it's, see, so what happens is when we have Angikam, Vaachikam and Aaharyam together, put together into display, the portrayal becomes in itself very, trustworthy. Secondly, it talks about, and then you actually get into the skin of the character, you feel the character, and then you live the character. If you see the second image, by the way, can you depict what the second image is? What can be the second image, which Ras is represented here? You can put down in the comment box. So the lady is just, it is with all Ashcharya. If you can see that Ashcharya in her eyes, in her face, the body movement should not be that much open, but the face is talking about how she is feeling. She is surprised. She is like, she is curious. She is surprised to know what's going to unfold next. So the eyes play very important role. If see in the first picture, it's about Shringar. That girl is very happy portraying herself, putting up the Shringar. In the second, we can see the eyes are closed. It's that girl is embracing the love energy around her. She is happy. She is contained. And in the third, it depicts the shak. There is a fear, there is a bhai here, and there is a skeptic. That girl looks skeptical of what is going to unfold next. So understand, these rasas are very important in portrayal of any character, because they give the definition of connecting with the emotions. So once they are portrayed, the audience are informed about how, how they should respond in a particular way for a particular emotion that is being unfolded in front of them. Now, ma'am, if you want, I can take a break here.
Yeah.
It's 8:30.
Yes. Yes. So let's take a pause to reflect if we have any questions so far. And if there is anything that has not been understood, then it can be explained again. Or if anybody has anything to share, that could also be done. So we can open the forum for some questions and reflections for the next 5 minutes, and then Zelam can continue with the rest of the presentation. Anybody? Yeah, I think Zelam, there is an echo. When I speak, I think there is an echo from your end.
Just a moment, let me just.
Yeah. Is there any question? Anybody, please put it up in the chat box, or you could also kind of share it by raising your hand. So I was going to show something. So let me just quickly do that. Okay, won't take much of a time. This is a wonderful gift that I recently received. This is the Krishna Path. And it's a nice kind of a box full of emotions. There are several chits in this box of different colors. So there's pink, purple, blue, cream, orange, red, yellow, green, etc. And each color is associated with different emotions. because we are talking about theater and because we are talking about emotions, and each of this color represents an emotion. So, for example, blue is sad, yellow is lazy, purple is loneliness, etc. So, when I, for example, today, if I'm feeling uh, anxious, so anxious is denoted by this particular color, that is cream. I'll pick it up, and there is a shlok from the Bhagavad Gita in it.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt you. I cannot see anything. Are you showing something?
No, yeah. Can you see
So,
now?
just a moment. Yes, ma'am. Now I can.
Yeah. So I'm feeling anxious. I picked up this, and there is chapter 18, shlok 66 from the Bhagavad Gita. I'll read or let me read the shlok first. Sarva dharmanya paritajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham twam sarva papebhyo mokshik mokshishyami ma shuchacha. Shuchaha. Give up all other duties and completely surrender to me. That is Krishna. I will free you from all sins and take care of you. Do not worry. So, depending on the mood of the day, you pick this the corresponding emotion from the Krishna Path box, and then the answer, the solution comes to you in front in form of the wisdom from the Bhagavad Gita. That is how you can deal with your emotions, balance them out, handle them out, navigate them. So I think this is an interesting exercise, and I believe theater also helps us do that. Okay, so if there are no questions, and I have one which I'd request Zelam to respond to. Yesterday, she spoke of the fourth wall. So I'm kind of confused and unable to understand the concept very clearly. What is the fourth wall, and is there a fourth wall in a classroom? And if yes, then how does the teacher go beyond it?
Okay, very good question, ma'am. Thank you for this question because I'm sure most of us will be looking forward to know about it. So when we talk about the fourth wall is the connection between the audience and the artist and the performance who are presenting their art. So when we talked about right now, I talked about drishti and your the moment, the postures and everything, your expression and everything, clubbed with the music that is in the background, clubbed with the lighting parameters that or the criterions that the stagecraft holds. It tries to evoke the emotions at a particular moment with the audience. So, say for example, if it is a very emotional scene that is going on, and it is, say for example, there is this scene from Ramayana where Shabriji and Lord Ram, they sit in the kutia and she offers her half-eaten bear, and that is a very, 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 very karunamay scene. It's like she is crying and she is feeding him from her hand. So so now what happens is when an artist tries to portray that emotion on stage, uh, they bring the characters so much alive that it connects with the audience, and along with the parties, this performers, they also start participating in the theater through expressing themselves. Some of them may cry, some of them may feel very elated, some of them they may feel very karuna, compassion. Something within them stirs them. So they try to connect with the energies of that particular performance, and they try to express themselves. They are not restricting themselves. They are not putting up bars on themselves. They are not closed up. So the thing is, when we talk about such characters which try to make the audience, which try to evoke the emotions of the audience, the fourth wall is broken. See what happens is the three walls, that is, like say for example, if I am facing the camera, then there is one wall that is at the back of me. There is one wall on the right and the one wall on the left hand side. Now what happens? On the stage there is an entry from the right and the left. There is a backdrop at the back which we are not allowed to go unless and until there is a need of going from the backstage, going from the back entry. But what happens is when I am responding, when I am connecting with my audience, I am directly questioning the audience. I am directly entertaining the audience. I am engaging the audience. I am telling the audience that this is what I feel. So when I announce it to the audience, they respond to me. Not in person. I'm not targeting any one person and telling, hey, you, listen, it is for you and you better understand. No, no, we are not doing that. Whatever we are doing here on stage, if it is going to connect, when it connects, then the reaction comes in form of a clap. It comes in form of tears, good or bad. I mean, the happy tears or the sad tears. It comes in form of appreciation and enlightenment along with that expression. So they also sit in their chairs and they also feel the emotion. They express it through the gestures, nodding, body language, everything, etc. So I think that goes on to let them in the stage while the performance is being performed. And then it is like a connection. So same, the question that you asked me, if there is a fourth wall between a teacher and a student, yes, there is a fourth wall. And when a teacher, when you present a certain concept with theory, say for example, it's like a theories that you're trying to explain to them. So when you come up with different illustrations that are very relatable with the students, say for example, if you in your presentation while presenting a concept, you present something for the Gen Zs in form of AI videos, then you can just see the glow up on their face. You can just see that, oh, they are enjoying that particular presentation, or oh, they are grabbing it, they are understanding it. So without them telling you, you understand it from their facial expressions that it is reached in a way that you want them, uh, what you want to communicate. It is communicated in the same fashion. It is delivered in the same fashion. There you get the answer for your performance as a teacher on the podium. That yes, so there is no difficulty in making them understand. But yes, for that, a teacher should be well versed with different kinds of, say for example, how creatively he or she can portray such things, can bring the examples, can glorify the subject. Say for example, if it is a very dry subject and you actually have to do something like a, say for example, law. If you have you are a teacher from law background, then you need to make them understand about the practical role play sessions or the moot court where you actually built up the environment. You bring in the simulation and then you explain to it. Then it becomes very, the process is very easy. Then you just the environment is set, and all you have to do is just get into that environment so that it starts connecting with the audience the moment you start delivering. So this is very important and very crucial at times. So yeah, and then we as teachers, we have this upper hand in knowing who is the मतलब कौन ज्यादा शैतान है, कौन कैसा है, कौन अच्छे से करेगा, कौन नहीं करेगा, कौन बहुत ही कामचोर है. So we all know the qualities of the students, but and we at the same time we also know what are their preferences. So the moment we start to get into their territory of understanding, we tap into their energies through this, and then we break the fourth wall, because then the initiation start coming, it flowing in very easily from their end. And this is how we break the fourth wall by letting them in. So
Great.
ma'am,
Yes.
should I go ahead with
Yeah,
the
thank you.
slides?
Thank you for that explanation. So again, I'm encouraging participants to post their questions in the chat box so that we can take them at the end of the session when we are closing. So over to Zalem for the rest of the session now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So now, coming to the stagecraft, when we say that, it is not just a podium or it is not just a stage. It gives you the platform to express yourself. Even if you alone are doing it in one act play, even if it is a monologue that you come and do, even if there is no background music, even if there is just one mic, you are there standing in front of the mic and you are delivering. So what happens is you try to bring different aspects of that character, and then you try to convince the audience there that okay, I am delivering this because I have a purpose to tell you about this particular character or the role. And then they start looking at you from that particular angle, that particular perspective. So understanding the stagecraft, it also is very important. Of course, sometimes it happens that you require different prop element, different properties, so that they also sum up in your presentation. They also become instrumental when you are presenting on the stage. Say for example, if you say the three girls, so they are in synchronization, their hand movements, their posture, it tries to tell you about a structure that they are there, that they are portraying. So the pace and the structure and the rhythm, they also, if you have seen different operas or if you have seen a musical theatrical presentation, then at that time all the coordination between the uh, between the natyas and the vadyas, as well as the expressions, they go in synchronization with each other. So that is a structure and pace, that is the rhythm that is created, and that gives the meaning to the audience. That conveys something, their presence, their essence to the audience. When we talk about the second image that we are seeing here, so they are using the stage properties. They have, now if you see, there are two important perspectives that I come to know from this particular stagecraft. So while you use the property, one, that the property also adds to the story and contributes into taking the plot ahead. Number two, it gives you it. It adds up as a character itself alongside with the character. So if you see different expressions of different people in the different frames that we can see here in the second image. The first one from the left, if we see, it is a very डरे हुए इंसान की छवि दिख रही है. The second one is something that he is asking for justice or something like that. The third one is he is just trying to understand कि सामने या बाहर क्या हो रहा है. So it's much like a window there. And then the fourth one is like, okay, fine, he's trying to analyze something that he's trying to see. And the fifth one, the last one, the lady that we see, she is trying to understand, peeping out of the window or a door, understanding what the gossip is all around. So, so you, when you see now, I don't know whether I just took this image, but I don't know whether what kind of perception. But then through this imagery, I can perceive something of classical, of how these actors have classically used the props. So props try to add up to the value of making the audience understand about what they want to convey as a message to them. Uh, the way they are standing, the way they are using the prop, uh, goes on to tell a lot. So additionally, they don't have to put up the dialogues to the audience, telling them or justifying of why they are standing this way. If they are standing that way, that means it is adding up to the narrative, to the narrative and the story where they are going to convey a message or meaning by holding that prop or presenting in that prop. They are giving some meaning to the audience. So stagecraft plays very important role. When we see about the red image, it talks about the brilliant play of shadow and light. If you see, there are three artists, they are standing. Now what do you think? You can put down in comments, what do you think? They are standing behind the curtain or they are standing in front of the curtain? What do you think? I want to know from you all.
Yes, let's have some quick responses. Yes, quick. Let's be quick in responding in the chat box. Front. Vandana ji says front. Anybody else? In front of the curtain. That is what Neelam ji is saying. Okay, one more.
Yes.
Anybody else? Let's wait. Before the curtain.
Yeah.
Amarnath
So
ji. Okay,
yes.
great. That's
So
great.
so now tell me, are they looking at the audience? What are they doing? I mean, are they standing? They are standing very much in front of the curtain. Yes, but are they looking at the audience? Are they facing the audience or they are not facing the audience? All the three.
Yes. Any responses? Yes, they are facing the audience. They are involved in concert. Mamta ji is saying no, they are not facing the audience.
Yes, they are not facing the audience because they are engaged into something that they are trying to look at. See, the first image from the right, if you say that person has its back to the audience and he is holding an umbrella. So it is a shadow figure trying to portray something to the audience, but he is not directly maintaining an eye contact with the audience just to justify of how that person is feeling right now because he is cross-legged. So he is into deep thinking at this moment. The second, the middle image that we talk about. So that girl is trying to explore something. That girl is trying to find something. See, when we want to connect to something or when we are thinking, we naturally our heads go like this above. We directly go and think like that. So as if their answers are there written above on our head. So understand one thing, that is a very psychological thing, and this is through the portrayal we can say that the girl is very much facing the audience, but she is not looking. Her body is tilted towards her left hand side where she is trying to find out something. And the third person who is wearing a hat, that boy, the boy's body is also facing the audience, but then it is tilted as if he is looking for answers beneath him, I mean on the ground. He's trying to locate something, but the body language of all the three are they talk about the first two are a very open body language, the third is a little bit conservative, it is little bit holding on to itself. Same. Come to the next picture. That is, a group of boys are sitting, and there is a person. So understand the imagery. When we have a difference into height, it talks about the authority of the person who is standing, because see, the group of people who are sitting as if they are slave, or they are workers, and that person has a very dominating role, authoritative role. He is asking for answers, or he is asking for an explanation. So the tonation here goes with the understanding of the height, the altitude of how the imagery is presented to you. If somebody is towering you, is then the demeanor of that person, the character, the role that demands and executes the authority. If somebody is suppressing you, then you are sitting down. You are grounded. You are sitting down and you are trying to listen. You are subdued. You are not opening up. You are skeptical and you are miserable in that particular. You are helpless in that particular position. So try to understand the equation between these two characters. When we talk about the third, it's just about it's not just about the balancing of this posture. It is something that you want to tell the audience of how these characters are connected with each other. There is a response from the girl who is standing there. She's like kind of waving her hand in the air, and there is a boy who is trying to reach out. No doubt there is a difference between these two, but it kind of justifies, and it kind of decodes to one thing and understanding that he is trying to reach out to her, or she is trying to reach out to him. So it's a very it's the entire tableau that they have formed is very sweet. It's very excellently done, because they are balancing, and they are so the it and we can depict another thing, that boy has rose to a level to reach that girl. Now this is a very psychological thing and decoding of the thing of the subject. अगर simple चीज बतानी हो, if he wanted to reach out, then at her level, eye to eye level also, he would have stood, and he would have waved her his arms in front of her to be reach out to her. But then he is reached to a level that now he can demand somebody's attention. So he has made his power, he has made his profile to the level that somebody who is looking at him, it should be like at a higher than the normal eye level that I am seeing him. So when we say that we look up to him, so that girl is looking up to him. So that means there is a respect for that boy, that who is there, in the air. He is standing with demanding the respect from the girl. When we talk about the fourth image, it tries to try to understand the emotion that they are portraying. The two are supposedly they are arguing with each other, and the other two are because of the heated argument that is going on, somebody is restricting them to stop behaving like that. So they are pointing with each other, but see the body language, see the eyes, see the tone. I mean, see how they are shouting at each other from their facial expressions. So understand all these things, try to deliver a message to the audience rather than directly telling them or narrating to them or spoon feeding them. So this is how you decode the entire setup of stage creativity, and this is how it all enables for us to understand as an audience of what goes into the analysis of how the what is demanded out of the characters, and how the characters, they portray their roles with passion and dignity and all the devotion that they can offer to make any production a huge success. Thank you.
Great, wonderful. Thank you so much, Zela. It was a very visually enhancing and visually enriching presentation, in my opinion. So let's open the floor for questions without any delay. Just a moment. Mamta ji had put in a comment in between, which I'd like to read, and I request Zelam's response to this. The stage enactment must need a lot of practical training. Your response to this, Zela?
Yes, Mamtaji, it requires a lot of practical training. But what happens when we actually dive deep into the knowledge of what we want to offer while we are performing. So the basic understanding also will help us to to connect with whatever we want to pursue or convey in form of message. So it's not always that you have to join a theater group always, and then you have to come prepared, go for the practice, etc., etc. It all boils down to one thing, that you should understand what is the need of the character, and how I can portray it with all the knowledge, and about the portrayal of that particular the character. So yes, theater has certain. I mean, you have to do a practice, but then it comes along with the understanding of what is the need of the character. The moment you start understanding what is the need, then it becomes easier for you to follow the process of getting into that character skill. So you can do that with the help of some guru or training, and you can also do that nowadays. We have got so many tutorials, so we can also take help of that to understand of how what is the role that what does the role demands from you.
Great. I hope, Mamta ji, that answers your question. I'd just like to add, I think, of course, practical training is important. And as Zelam said, understanding what you're doing, what you're essaying, the character or even the plot or the concept that you want to portray, that is important. From my experience, I'd just like to add that reading and your sense of awareness, your cognitive abilities, your rootedness in the local culture also becomes extremely crucial. So just taking the example of a classroom, when you offer more locally relevant, culturally relevant examples to the students, uh, then that makes it more understandable, relatable, and then they also, as Zelam said, grasp the subject matter much more easily. So, for example, to today's modern generation, I may definitely give some examples of bygone eras, bygone films, bygone TV series. That's great. They must learn to appreciate it. But if I'm going to talk about the pop culture that they consume, then that connects immediately with them. So I think when we are trying to, when we are in the classroom, then or when we are, sorry, I think Mamta, she got unmuted. So when we are either a practicing theater professional or we are interested in theater, reading and awareness of our cultural context also plays an important role. Okay, I think Neelam ji has a question which will benefit other participants also. Zelam can take that up. With what methods we can start teaching creative writing to beginners? Yes, yeah, correct. Zelam, would you want
Yeah,
to?
so
Yeah.
so I have just mentioned there in the while you were explaining, and I just got to know the question, so I just put up the explanation. So Neelamji, we can have the discussion. We can initiate it with a small group kind of dynamics where they come, portraying the character, and they bring in the subject, where they talk about the subject, they discuss the subject, and they evolve around. They should revolve around the subject in a way that they touch upon different important spheres of the subject, which tries to bring the practical side of that, the nature of the subject and the concept, through which there can be different dimensions, and we can portray. Say for example, if we want to portray, if we are into management, this discipline, and we want to make them understand the importance of planning, organizing, directing, controlling, etc. So in that, what we can do is we can form different small groups. We can ask them to write a small script about the different these the planning, or say controlling or directing, all these terminologies, and how they can make it more dramatic while they portray the roles. Say for example, somebody's portraying the role of a vice president in a company. There is a fictitious company that they have set up. Then there is an employee who has just newly joined. So what is the onboarding process, and so forth. So all these things, when nicely scripted down, and then you break it to the level of having that in form of a particular practical analysis, through your portraying the character in front of the class, and they are delivering the concept in form of the role play. It makes it more meaningful, and it is more easier for the other students to even know the things about that particular concept that they are portraying.
Thank you, Zelam, for that response. I noted the last statement that you made in the chat box. Even dramatic reading is very important. So just picking it up from there, I think, Neelamji, if you have to introduce creative writing to students who may not have delved into it any given point of time before, a good starting point would also be to make them read and watch something that's genuinely creative. Because आजकल हम देखते हैं कि creativity के नाम पर बहुत कुछ परोसा जाता है in movies, in theater, in different types of content that we are consuming. So what creativity actually is. So बहुत simple सी बात को अगर हम बहुत ही striking तरीके से if we are able to convey witty. So if you find an example of a story or a narration or a scene or a visual setup that is very witty, that is very humorous, या व्यंग satire या कटाक्ष का उपयोग हो रहा है, use हो रहा है. So that is a good starting point to say that, okay, you be in the same situation, imagine how would you convey. So for example, what would you do if you were made the prime minister of this country for one day? So let loose imagination and then respond. And then we know there's a whole film made on this thing, Anil Kapoor's Nayak, where he becomes prime minister for one day. Okay, we'll move to the next question. Please share the whole process of using role play with the help of an example. Yes, Zelam can respond and I can also respond to this after she does.
Okay, so ma'am, if you want, you can just start and initiate with that, and I will be just pitching in after you about one small example that I have.
Sure. So this is a real life example of a role play that I was part of. In 2015, I attended a and role play kaha isliye mujhe wo immediately yaad aaya, and that's how I thought I should share it. Sorry. So I was attending a peace and conflict training. It was an extended training for 3 weeks. It was a residential training, and the day before, we were told that it will be a role play, a simulation kind of an exercise. And our instructor, because peace and conflict is a very heavy topic, you learn about conflicts in different parts of the world, different zones of the world. You read about trauma and loss and suffering that people have experienced in conflict. So the whole group was divided into 2 camps. So the other camp was the enemy camp, Dushman wala camp, right? So we were divided into 2 groups in such a way that we were 2 villages at war with each other, right? So in one group, there were 7-8 people. In the other group, there were 7-8 people. And we were asked to imagine that from now, you are at war with each other. There's a conflict going on. And you have to behave with the other team in a way that you are in conflict with them. Now, my roommate was in the other camp. And for the 2 weeks that I was with her, we became very good friends. We used to chit chat, have dinner together. But in the role that I was, she was part of the enemy camp. So she had become a very good friend, but I had to play the role. And I had to kind of, दुश्मन की तरह मुझे उससे व्यवहार करना था, to act as if she is my enemy. And lot of us, and we were asked to take it very seriously. We got into the skin. So I ended up fighting with my roommate, and I threw her out of the room that because you are my enemy, you are not supposed to be here. And we were told to be in the role until next evening. So all the bottled up emotions, they kind of jacketed up inside of us till the evening. And then the next evening, we were asked to let loose. Okay, chhod do. Whatever role you were playing, you were enemies. So I remember people going after each other to hit each other. Enemy hai, so I want to hit my enemy. Okay, I want to put down my enemy. So only the next evening, we were asked to let loose, come out of the role. And there were lots of lessons about conflict mitigation, conflict resolution, conflict arbitration, different stages of conflict, how to come together for peace talks. All of these lessons were integrated in that role. Yeah, thank you.
That was wonderful. I never knew that happened. We never discussed that. But it was very interesting to know, Nidhi ma'am, of the thing that you just unfolded, you just shared. And it's not very important. Now, what happens is, I think, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible. Only your
But there is
camera
some,
has frozen.
I think there is some network issue. But I will
Yeah, yeah, you continue. Only your camera is frozen.
Right. Yeah. So I would like to give an example. Because I am a management student, and we were asked by my teacher to, we formed the group, and one group was asked to, one group was asked to be very strict, one group was asked to be very rude, and the other group was very lenient. They were very cooperative. And so on. So we were supposed to go and ask our queries to both these group were of seniors. So, because of their body language, the people who were rude were not being approached by the people who are juniors. The people who are very accommodative were being encouraged. I mean, they encouraged, they made the juniors very welcome. They were open and accessible to any questions, any doubts, any queries. They were there. They came forward. They initiated a conversation, and so on and so forth. So through this, our teacher they explained to us the importance of the reinforcement theory of learning. So what happens is in that there are reinforcement is we like to go we like to fall back to the responses which are very positive for us, and we try to close off to the responses which are not in connection with us, or we don't like them to pursue, or they are, I mean, we don't like them, right? So we also fall back, and this happens in our day to day lives also. We are very close to our parents, but then अगर कुछ चीज मांगने की हुई, then there is a favorite person out of in the entire family that we approach to. If we are in trouble situation, we go and seek the validation from the person whom we find very comfortable sharing our doubts with. So through this, they made us understand what is the reinforcement theory of learning. So, Mamta ji was the one who asked, or Nilam ji was one to ask. I would just like to mention here the role plays should be very much, should be demonstrated in a way where the concept would be a central theme, and then the practical analysis or the exercise that would surround the concept, so that the students who are there, they enjoy the process and they learn from it practically.
Correct. Great, great example. And I'm sure that the aspects that you have touched upon today, especially about NavRasa and different postures and positions on the stage space, I think space is so crucial to any theater performance. So I see that it's 9:11. So we are closing today's session because some of our participants have left, and we don't want to keep discussing newer aspects and newer ideas when some of them are not in the meeting now. So we will be continuing tomorrow for session number 3. So, okay, that's great. Tomorrow we shall talk about different folklores and cultures. Excellent. I think that is something that is so integral to Indian knowledge systems and any. So let's regroup tomorrow at 8 p.m. sharp. And I request all participants to kindly be proactive during the sessions, share examples, ask as many questions as possible so that we can draw maximum from what Zalem has to offer. Her knowledge and expertise in all these fields is something that we should be taking advantage of for the rest of the sessions. So great. Just let me stop the recording. Thank you, everyone.